Hello, noble people. My name is Noble, and in this video, I'm going to be ranking my top 10 favorite games of all time. Now, to preface this is going to be a little bit of a weird video, since the only reason I really wanted to do this is because I've been making videos about Apex, and I've been getting frustrated with that game. Even though that was a game that I really liked, it actually made me think about it, because I actually had a Word document of my top 10 favorite games, and I was going to do a video on it around when the channel actually released, which is kind of funny. So I went through that list and looked back on it, and some of the stuff has definitely changed. Apex and Overwatch were on it, which I don't feel like Apex and Overwatch should have been on it, because they've definitely gotten worse over the years, and I don't think they deserve that spot as one of my top 10 favorite games. So I had to remake the list, and I'm very happy with the games that I have chosen. However, a little bit of warning, the games I have chosen might seem stereotypical and like new, like a lot of people are going to say these games are good, but that's simply because I actually haven't been playing games that long due to not really playing games when I was younger. When I was a very young age, my mom really didn't have the money, as she was a solo mother and was raising me and my brother, so she really didn't obviously have a lot of money to give us games or whatnot. So the main thing we did have was a Wii with Mario Kart. Now, Mario Kart isn't on this list. As a matter of fact, it was actually on the old list, and while I do love Mario Kart, that was like the only game that I could play with my brother at the time. There's definitely better games that I have played in more recent memory, so it pretty much took until round I was 15, 16, that is when I actually started playing a bunch of the games that are on this list. Some of them are like 14 and 13, but I really started playing games more recently. I am 19 as of right now, and most of the games are in very recent memory. Now, the Marvel Rivals gameplay you're seeing right now, Marvel Rivals is not on this list. I just wanted a blanket footage to have in the background so you won't get spoiled on the upcoming games in this. But yeah, we're just going to start with number 10, which is actually probably the most obscure game of this list, with Danganronpa. Danganronpa is a visual novel murder mystery style game, and I really like these types of games. Now, I haven't actually played too many outside of Danganronpa. I mainly like the main theme of Danganronpa, which it is a group of high school students are locked in an area, either a school, an island, a juvenile center in the third one, and the whole gimmick is that if they want to leave this place, they have to kill one of their fellow classmates and get away with it. What you're watching right now is actually the class trial, where is the main gameplay elements where you're trying to figure out who is the person who murdered one of your friends, and if you solve it, that person dies. However, if you fail, everyone dies except the actual killer. Now, I love this game mainly because of its story beats. It does have an overarching story, because I obviously can't have the just deaths back to back to back. That would be hard on the player, and also you wouldn't be able to know these characters. There's only around 16 students in most of the games, so they have to like stretch out the game with a lot of dialogue, and this is a lot of dialogue. I mean, it's a visual novel game, but one of the big plot points that I really do like is the fact that the students themselves have ultimate talents. They're all ultimates of something, like either ultimate nurse, ultimate photographer, ultimate gamer is one of them. Even some like kind of weird runs, like the ultimate yakuza, which is a gangster, a Japanese gangster, which is funny. My favorite one of the series is Danganronpa 2: Killing Harmony. Or no, sorry, that's the third one name. Goodbye Despair. The second one is the one you're watching right now. The second game is my favorite. I do like the first game. The third game has some good moments, but don't play Ultra Despair Girls. That's a spin-off game. That one's really bad. But yeah, I absolutely love Danganronpa, and I think it deserves its spot on top 10, even though it does have some of those basic anime trope games where sometimes it can be really weird. That's why I don't like Ultra Despair Girls. It gets really creepy, so don't play that one if you want to get into this series. But I absolutely love this game, mainly for its characters and story. But yeah, that's going to be about it for Danganronpa as the number 10 slot. Number 9 is Skylanders, specifically Skylanders Trap Team. I do like all of the games except Superchargers. Superchargers is a little weird, but the main gimmick of this game, if you've played it, this is the Toys to Life genre, and this is definitely one of the games where it's just a childhood game that I love, and while it does have some stuff has aged, I still love these games. The basic idea of these games is you have these Skylander characters, which can range from different classes of elements, and put them on this portal. They activate, and then you play as that character. Obviously, this could get really expensive. However, me and my brother actually had a bunch of these. Now, we ended up selling them all, or my dad sold them all. But basically, this was the main game we played besides Mario Kart, and we still love it today. It basically got to a point where every birthday, every like event gathering, even if it was just like, oh, we're just having dinner or something, sometimes my grandparents or whoever is there would just give us like one Skylander. And since there's like over 150, there's practically always a new one that we would get, or new variants. And we absolutely loved collecting them and playing as every single character. I remember my favorite character, Bouncer, is a giant. He was really cool, giant robot dude. I loved him. I loved playing as him. And there's so many more gimmicks with this game. It is still a children's game, so the combat system in the game is fairly easy, and there is definitely a power scaling. There was some core figures, so the tiny characters, but then you also had like the main figures, where each new installment of the game had like a gimmick character. Example, the character Bouncer that I love is a giant, so he's really big. The character you're watching right now, Wallop, is a trap master, so he has traptanium hammers that do increased damage to certain enemies, and it kind of makes some parts of the game really, really easy, but the game is still fun. I have amazingly fond memories over it, and it will definitely always probably still be at least somewhere in the top 10. It might go down to number 10. Maybe Danganronpa would move up, but I don't know about this, but I absolutely adore Skylanders, and it definitely deserves its spot on one of my top 10 favorite games of all time. Number 8 is Deltarune. Now, this is number 8 specifically for Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Obviously, as of this video, Chapter 3 and 4 have not been released. And I feel like, while yes, this is one of my favorite games of all time, I feel like it's kind of rude to rank a game that isn't fully out yet higher than I feel like it should be. I feel like there's some games on this list that I do like. Now, Skylanders is more of a nostalgia thing where I still do like the game, so I put it below. And Danganronpa does have a decent amount of issues, so I can never put it above Deltarune in any slightness. But I feel like Deltarune, with the extra chapters, could 100% be higher than 8. That being said, Deltarune is amazing. As you know, Deltarune is a spiritual successor to Undertale, with obviously new battle gimmicks and new story, talking about how the dark fountains with the night. You're going to have to play the game for yourself, because I don't want to spoil anything, even though I am showing one of the secret boss fights right now, but pretty much everyone knows about these fights. I mean, the game's been out for multiple years at this point. It's completely free, so you can do the Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 demos right now. I'm super excited for Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, but I wanted to put it at number 8 because it feels a little bad putting a game that's not fully out yet at like number 1 or something, because I'm pretty sure with Chapter 3 and Chapter 4, this will be my favorite game of all time, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next up is Fortnite. Now, this is probably going to be the most controversial game on the list, but Fortnite is, to me, the every game. To me, Fortnite is what Roblox should be, a quality experience of a game where the whole entire idea is, hey, like, you want to hop on Fortnite, want to mess around, have some fun, goof off a little bit. That is what Fortnite is to me. Anytime I want to have goof off or just have a casual game to play with friends, that is usually the game I want to go to. Now, that was Apex, but Apex is too sweaty to do that. Overwatch has fallen out of graces, so I don't want to play Overwatch. And there really isn't too many other games that I want to play that are just kind of goofy fun that you don't really have to turn your brain on. And Fortnite is that. Obviously, I'm talking about zero build because I'm not someone who's going to hop in build. Now, if you're going to criticize me for doing that, because apparently people don't like it if you do zero build, which I have no idea why people wouldn't like it if you do zero build. It's a game mode. But I absolutely love this stuff, especially with the collabs. The Star Wars collab this season is probably one of my favorite ones, but like, it's the only game where you can play as Goku, Master Chief, and Peter Griffin all in the same game. Like that's amazing to me, and I just love that absurdity of Fortnite. Now, yes, it is above Deltarune, but like I said, I've probably gotten more gameplay's worth of Fortnite than Deltarune because Fortnite's obviously older game. It's actually only older by a year now that I think about it. But I feel like Fortnite's a game that's always going to adapt and change and evolve over time. And I am going to be completely honest, Fortnite probably is one of the few games that will probably last for multiple years. I can 100% see Fortnite lasting multiple decades just because of the amount of content that is eventually going to be put into the game. I mean, literally, this season you can fly around in X-Wings and TIE Fighters. Like, they keep one-upping themselves, so yes, they might get to a point where they won't be able to one-up themselves, but I think Fortnite is always going to be a solid, goofy game. It's dear to my heart. I mean, literally playing as Hatsune Miku, going up against Perfect Cell. It's just absurdity, and I absolutely love Fortnite because of that. Number 6. Now, you will know from my live streams that I have done on Cuphead that Cuphead is one of my favorite games of all time and also one of my highest played games ever, since it's one of the games where I can always come back to it and always have a lot of fun with it. Sometimes I come back to it and I'm really rusty and don't do that well, like the footage you're seeing now where I die pretty early on. But then again, you have some other saves where I do insanely well, and it's all just about hopping in, having a fun time, and maybe raging and getting mad at some of the bosses. But how could you not like Cuphead? It's a boss rush game with old 1920s fully hand-drawn art style. It's amazing. I love the DLC. I love the base game, and I always come back to play this. Like I said, I recently came back and did a stream where we tried to get in all A tiers and all S tiers on every single boss, and we did it only within like a couple streams, and I was insanely proud of that. And I absolutely love Cuphead. There's no reason why Cuphead should never be on anyone else's. If you've played Cuphead, Cuphead is one of the games of all time. Obviously, I don't think there will ever be like a sequel to Cuphead. The DLC alone took them like 5 years, I think. If I try and remember, I think Cuphead came out in 2016 or 2017. The DLC came out in 2022. So it took like a decent amount of time for them to do stuff. But I will always come back to this game. It's amazing, and it definitely deserves its spot in number 6. Now we're in the top 5, starting out with Minecraft. Now, everyone loves Minecraft. I mean, it's the best-selling game of all time, so it obviously had to go here somewhere. I mean, like I said, the only other, I think, single-player experience where you can pour actual hours into, other than me, like I said, I did that with Cuphead, but the only other real game that I've poured an insane, like, hundreds to 300 hours or so, would have to be Minecraft. Minecraft has insane potential, obviously, with mods, add-ons, whatever, and I absolutely adore Minecraft. Now, it isn't my favorite game of all time because it is still definitely the game where I can get burnt out very easily. I mean, there's a 2-week Minecraft phase where you just get burnt out and don't want to continue. I have tried to and keep myself motivated with some Minecraft worlds, but it always gets to a point where I'm just like, I don't really want to. I had a lot of fun. I would rather play a game where I can continue having fun. And don't get me wrong, I still do love Minecraft, but it's always that one game where I'll hop on and try and make a decently good world, have a bunch of fun, then might get off and then might come back on. It's always a game that I know is reliably going to be fun and exciting, but it's not necessarily a game where today's Minecraft day, I'm going to play Minecraft all day today. It's not that type of game for me. I might hop on for like maybe 1 or 2 hours, call it quits, and then might come back in like a week or so. It just depends what I'm feeling, but Minecraft is undoubtedly one of the best games ever made. Number 4 is Doki Doki Literature Club. Now, I do want to go on with saying this is probably one of the games where I'm going to have to spoil stuff. So if you've not seen anything with this game whatsoever, 1,000,000% click off this video and then come back. I don't want to spoil anything because I was so happy that I didn't get spoiled for it. I didn't watch any YouTubers. I saw YouTubers playing it, decided to play this game, and was amazed with how this game is. So please click off In 3, 2, 1, okay. This game is amazing. The way it subverts your expectations with thinking it's probably going to be a visual novel dating sim and then twisting into a psychological horror game is phenomenal. I think they do an excellent idea of making this game not only unsettling, but also unsettling to the point where you want to keep going. It's not like it gets to the part where it gets unsettling and suddenly you click off. It's like a jump scare, like FNaF or a cop-out game that is supposed to do cheap scares and not really have anything under the surface. Well, this does. There's so much under the surface, so much lore to depict and unpack, and I absolutely love this game for it. I was so stunned and shocked when I was playing through this game for the first time. I'm so happy I was able to play it with no spoilers. I wish we could get more of this game, simply because with some of the lore we got from the actual Doki Literature Club Plus, there is a DLC add-on that it was mainly for character stuff. It had like actual stories for what could have happened if the game didn't turn into a psychological horror, but it didn't actually have any actual new actual content for you. As a matter of fact, the main character wasn't even in the DLC stuff, but there is lore tidbits to showcase possibly a sequel, and I'm really hoping we could possibly see a sequel or possibly even like a remaster or like a something new in this kind of line of work, and I would absolutely love to see more. But other than that, it's 100% always going to stay one of my favorite games, simply because it started the kind of trope of something innocent be something completely insane under the hood. A lot of games have done it now, and a lot of shows and stuff have done it now actually as well, but this is like one of the first, and it did it excellently. Before we get into the top 3 of my favorite games, I do want to do some honorable mentions that didn't quite make the cut, either due to some issues in the game itself or to actually due to some issues with how I can actually play the game or actually can't play the game. So let's hop into those 5 honorable mentions. Ripping the Band-Aid right off, Apex is an honorable mention. I absolutely love base core gameplay of Apex. I love the legends. I think the overall gunplay, movement, legends are amazing. However, the microtransactions are what is holding this game away, and by honorable mentions, I don't mean like games that are like, oh, they're like number 11 or whatever. Apex probably right now isn't even my top 50, but like I said, this all kind of started from me making this video because I remembered I had an old Word document on my school laptop talking about some of my favorite games, and I kind of wanted to edit it, and Apex was on that top 10 list, and I feel like, well, yes, I still do love the game, and it's one of the games I have the most time played. I can't comfortably say it's one of my favorite games, but it does get a brief mention because I still do like the core gameplay elements aside from the microtransactions. The next honorable mention is Terraria. Now, I absolutely love Terraria. However, I don't really like it on the same line as Minecraft. I probably would have put it in the substitute for Minecraft because I do feel like I like it more than Minecraft in certain aspects. I mainly like when it comes to games, I like the fighting aspect of games and like the mechanical aspects. Some story elements are cool depending on what game it is. However, the problem with Terraria that Minecraft doesn't have is you can jump right into Minecraft and have a lot of fun. With Terraria, I always kind of need to have the wiki holding my hand. I can never try and play the game casually because I'll just be lost and I'll be kind of frustrated, stuck in a place for a decent long time. Now, that isn't any fault of the game itself. That's just kind of how I play. I have to understand what's going on or I can get frustrated. But that's just how I play the games. I want to know what's going on. But I do still love Terraria, but it's definitely not on this top 10, so that's why it's getting an honorable mention. The next 2 that I'm going to do back to back aren't actually in the honorable mentions due to a gameplay, but because I can't play them actually. Fall of Cybertron and Force Unleashed, I absolutely love these games. However, I haven't actually been able to play them. I have played Transformers Fall of Cybertron for the first time actually decently recently. However, since I had a cracked game file, it got bugged out very quickly, so I only was able to play it a little bit. Now, I was able to finish the overall campaign by myself, and I did have a lot of fun with my multiplayer. It's some of the best third-person shooter multiplayer that I've experienced that I've had. And Force Unleashed is a very solid game. I remember playing through it a lot when I was a kid. However, the problem with it is I can't find any of these games anywhere. A lot of people in the Transformers community know that you can't really find the Fall of Cybertron, but I'm surprised that I can't find the Forced Unleashed anywhere. Anytime I try and find that, it's either like it's a disc for like like $50 to $60, like it's a brand new game, or I find one that literally says it's just the case and it's like 200 something dollars, and I'm not gonna spend that much money on a new game for like the Xbox 360. So if you have an idea to be able to get this on PC, please tell me, because as far as I'm concerned, I can't find it anywhere. And I would love to replay this either for a video or possibly even a stream, because I remember these games being amazingly fun, especially Forced Unleashed. But yeah, they're definitely an honorable mentions because I haven't been able to play them for an extensive period of time. Last but certainly not least for the honorable mentions is going to go to pretty much any of the Sonic games. I absolutely love Sonic, the Sonic Racing, some of the like spin-off games. I love all of the Sonic games. However, I don't feel like any of them are necessarily completely as a solid game to rank as one of my top 10. I feel like all the games in the top 10, even some of the honorable mentions, I feel like they have more solid gameplay loops. Like I absolutely love like Project 06, which is a complete recreation of Sonic 06. I think it's a really amazing mod, and I had a blast playing with it, but that was a mod. Base 06 is not that fun. Even some of the newer games with Sonic X Shadow Generations, I absolutely loved that. Probably one of the best modern Sonic experiences we could possibly have. Same thing with Frontiers with its boss fights. I absolutely love those games, but I don't think they're good enough to warrant being on my top 10. I feel like on top 10 you have to be at least an 8.5, and I would rank some of those games at their best they can be a 10, but at their worst they can still be like a 6, sometimes even a 5. So obviously Sonic has a range of quality, so I think it's honorable to put it in an honorable mention, but it doesn't actually get a spot on this list aside from that mention. Now, number 3 is Pokemon. Now, this can be pretty much any of the Pokemon games, since it is still just the basic core of, well, Pokemon. It's still just Pokemon. But if I had to pick one, probably Pokemon Sun would be my favorite. I have been on record to say that I think Omega Ruby was my favorite. However, going back and replaying through the game on an emulator, I can 1,000,000% say that I absolutely love Ultra Sun and Normal Sun. Alola is probably one of my favorite regions, simply because it's such a very unique case where it's not just the normal gym battles and you decide to do other stuff. Obviously, if everyone likes Pokemon, everyone thinks Pokemon are cute, even if they don't understand the Pokemon moves or the card games. Some people are going to have Pokemon cards. Your mom's going to know what a Pikachu is. Like, everyone knows Pokemon, and I absolutely love this game series. My favorite Pokemon is Gliscopod, if you have watched my Dream Team video, which I do recommend you go check out. And Pokemon is also one of the games where I would love to actually try and either do a Nuzlocke series on the channel, or possibly do more Pokemon-related stuff actually on the channel, because I think that would be really cool to actually do, but I don't actually know if it would be good. So please tell me if you do want to see any actual Pokemon stuff. I would love to get your thoughts and feelings. But yeah, Pokemon is definitely going on number 3 of my favorite games of all time. Five Nights at Freddy's is number 2, and this actually was a big decision, decided to have this at number 2 instead of number 1. But at the end of the day, FNaF has had too many misses for me to say that it's my number 1. Not necessarily saying it's a bad game, as I completely love this game. I mean, FNaF is actually one of the only videos I have on the channel where I did a tier list of those actual games and ranked the games there. And even I said in that video, even the games where I don't like them and they're not the best, I still absolutely love the actual just basicness of the, like, animatronics come kill you gameplay loop. It's very satisfying, very, very repetitive. You can get strategies. There's so many like challenges and stuff you can do for replayability in some of these games, and I absolutely love that. And obviously, the biggest thing that makes me invested in FNaF is obviously the lore. I've been someone who kind of stuck with FNaF off and on. I got involved in the franchise, actually, I believe around 2015. I started watching FNaF, and I absolutely fell in love with it. I still was kind of a scaredy cat at the beginning, but I will always stick with this franchise no matter what. I feel like any other installment of the game, I'm probably going to do a review on. I mean, we already have Secret of the Mimic coming out soon. If it is a VR game, I don't actually know if I will do a video on the channel since it might be VR, but I'm so looking forward to the movie this year. I'm looking forward to Secret of the Mimic. I'm looking to the collabs because we're getting the Dead by Daylight collab. Hopefully we get Springtrap as a killer in Dead by Daylight. And obviously the biggest thing I would want from FNaF is for it to be in Fortnite. If I can run around as Freddy Fazbear with a lightsaber and a pump shotgun, I am going to be the happiest person on earth. But there still is one game that I think is probably one of the best made games of all time. That is what is at number 1. Undertale is a complete masterpiece of a game, and it is one of the most horribly coded games I've ever seen. As someone who does some computer science and coding, it's one of the most horribly coded games I've ever seen, but it's just amazing. To the soundtrack, to the characters, to the story, to this date, this has been the only game to actually make me cry due to actual story beats. I've cried at plenty of movies, but I've never actually cried at a game like this. And I 100% believe Rune will make me cry at some point, but it's so majestic, the story, especially the pacifist story. Obviously the big one is the genocide route with being able to fight Sans and Undyne and characters like that, Megalovania playing, but just the basic pacifist route is so amazing, and I absolutely love this game. There's a bunch of replayability with like 100 something routes. Now all of the routes aren't necessarily different when you're playing them, the endings are different, but I absolutely love this game. This is one of the only like actual single player games where I have over 100 hours on this game. Same thing with Deltarune, where I just constantly replay the game, even if it's just doing a route I've already done. Just reliving this experience over and over again is just amazing, and I have so much fun with Undertale, and it 1,000,000% deserves my favorite game of all time. That's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you liked or disliked this video. I feel like some of my answers, well, yes, are pretty boring. I feel like I'm going to be like stagnant in my answers. I feel like there's no other games that I would choose to be here aside from maybe the honorable mentions, but I absolutely love every game on this list. Tell me if you do want to see more content like this where I just kind of talk about some of my favorite games or favorite franchises and stuff. Maybe I could even do my least favorite games of all time, like the games that I absolutely hate. Then again, people might get mad if I were to do that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Stay noble. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.